Intellectual stew. Oh, we're cooking something true.
Marriage for him is like making mashed potatoes.
Intellectual stew. Real raw and relevant for you. With James Kirkland guiding through the deep, the light,
Let me ask you
the old, the new. Intellectual stew. Yeah, we're stirring up the view. Oh, we're cooking something true. Intellectual stew. Real raw and relevant for you. With James Kirkland guiding through the deep, the light, the old, the new. Intellectual stew. Yeah, we're stirring up the view. Intellectual stew. Oh, we're cooking something true. Intellectual stew. Real raw and relevant for you. With James Kirkland guiding
through the day.
the light, the old, the new. Intellectual stew. Yeah, we're stirring up the view.
All right.
Intellectual
Y'all hear me? Oh, I thought I turned off. My bad. I got it that time. All right. I like that though. I like my theme music. Intellectual stew. I like my little theme music. I do. Y'all like my theme music? What's up? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirkland. And I am exuberantly excited to be here tonight and to make your acquaintance. I appreciate those of you who show up consistently every Monday night to support us. Even if you stop by for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you do, I appreciate you. I want you to know that I don't take your presence here for granted. I don't take your presence for granted. So, like I said, I appreciate you for stopping by. Listen, let me share this with a couple of people that I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to stop doing this. I'm not going to lie, but I still do it as of now. I share it to let people know that we are on. So let me, I'll make sure we're transmitting. So let me share this with a few more people, if you don't mind. It's open mic night. I really don't have much of an agenda, to be honest with you. Well, I'm on, really, to tell you the truth, as the young folks say, I'm on whatever y'all on. I really am. Whatever you all want to talk about tonight, that's what we're going to discuss. I'm not restricted at all. I don't really have a plan as far as what I want to. I want, honestly, because I want this. What's up, AJ? I want this show to develop organically, right? I want to develop the conversation organically from the chat. You know, I could come on and teach a lesson every week, or preach a sermon every week, whatever, but that becomes redundant at times. And I appreciate it, don't get me wrong, but I really want this to be a safe space, a community space where we can come in and discuss. And the only thing I really don't like talking about is politics. I just don't really care enough. Well, I care, but that's something that we just probably would never agree on, and that's okay. It's all good, AJ, all good, Mello. Yeah, that's really the only thing I kind of stay up from. You know, I love relationships. I love talking about social justice issues, religion, of course. We do that as well. I love doing all those things, but I don't like arguing. I don't like fussing. I don't try to give you the right or wrong answer, but I do try to give you a relevant answer because I want something that's custom. I want you to leave with something that's custom made uh, for your situation. Because guess what? Every situation is not one size fits all. So, for instance, I wear a size 12 shoe. Some of you all probably wear smaller, some of you wear larger suit, but whatever you don't, if you're gonna wear shoes, you wear the ones that fit. That's the way I was always taught. I was always taught. I'm not going. One thing I'm definitely not going to do, Mello, is I'm not going to wear any tight shoes. So if we leave here, I want to leave here with. I want us to leave here with clarity, with understanding. So that's why we share our situations on this platform. So when we share them, somebody who potentially is going through something similar, someone who's going through something similar can eavesdrop on that conversation. And as they eavesdrop on that conversation, they can say, you know what? I identify with that. And if James went through it, or Mello went through it, or whoever went through something similar and they got through it, and I hear their process, maybe I can acquiesce, maybe I can acclimate, maybe I can apply some of those steps to my personal life. And if I apply those steps to my life, then I can get out of what I am currently in. Listen, if you are listening now, do me a favor, go ahead and share this. Go ahead and share this thread. There, hold on. Let me put the phone number up. Hold on. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I moved my computer over here to the side. So let me move my mic over here closer this way. Um, let me put the phone up. Because some of y'all just aren't going to get on camera with me. And really that's what I would prefer, that you get on camera with me. But I can't make you. But let me put the camera link up as well. Now, listen, I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna be on as long as y'all are on tonight, because, like I said, I want this to develop into here we go, a show where you all call in, as opposed to me sitting up here having a 1 hour or 30 minute or 45 minute soliloquy every week. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. I'm putting up the link in the chat. Hold on. To come on video, click this link. And I'm getting used to this new schedule. I started back work, and so my days off are Sundays and Mondays. So I've been off all day today. I'm running errands and was off yesterday. So I'm kind of getting used to this new schedule as well. All right. So I just put the link in the chat for those of you all who are on Facebook. Pin it. All right. And let me put the link in the chat for those on YouTube. I promise you I have no agenda. I got some notes though. Y'all know I got some notes, but hold on. We're going to get to them in a minute. To join the show live, how you spell live? Show. SHOW. Click the link. Boom. All right. So I put the link in YouTube and I put the link in Facebook. And I have the phone number up. Let me make sure I guess it's up. Make sure I see it. All right. So here we are. We're all set up. Let me invite some more people. Let them know we are live. All right. I told you it's gonna be a quiet show if y'all ain't talking to me tonight. And it ain't okay. Listen, it's gonna be a quiet show tonight because I'm gonna get y'all to talk to me. I promise I am. I am not gonna be the only one sitting up here having these long soliloquies every week. I need you all to phone number is 404-860-2775. The link to get on the show for Facebook is in the chat, and the link to get on the show for YouTube is also in the chat. So if you all would like to join the show, what's up, Jazz? If you all have something you want to talk to about, I'm on that. I'm for real. I'm on what y'all are on. I'm not going to sit up here and do a long teaching tonight. If y'all want me to teach Bible study, catch me Tuesday or Wednesday, some one of those nights. But tonight's open mic night. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about parenting. We're talking about family. We can talk about church. We can talk about any of those types of things, right? But I am not going to sit here and get... Now, I'll start a conversation. All right, y'all want me to start a conversation? All right, if y'all want me to start... Okay, so Jasmine has spoke. AJ has spoke. Bradley, I see you there. All right, if y'all want me, if y'all, I'm gonna give y'all about 30 seconds. I'm gonna play my song one time. Jasmine. I'm gonna play my song one time. And if y'all have not started a topic, then I'll start one. But we're not gonna stay here all night. So let me play my song one time. I like my music, y'all. Let me play it one more time.
Oh, we're cooking something true. Intellectual stew. Real raw and relevant for you. With James Kirkland guiding through the deep, the light, the old, the new intellectual stew. Yeah, we're stirring up the view.
All right, I'm back. All right, cool. All right, good. Abe, all right, cool. I appreciate you, Mello. Mello said he's watching on YouTube now. That gets me good. I appreciate that because it helps me get watch hours. So I appreciate those. And if you all that are watching me that are like followers of mine, I need like 4,000 watch hours. And the way I get those on YouTube is if you watch the show, right? So I don't care if you just go on the show and just play it, while you riding down the road or whatever. Just go back and watch some old episodes and help us get that going. All right, so let me ask y'all a question. Because here we are in this age of relationships. And yeah. And it's, what's up, DB? Hey, I ain't teaching no Bible study tonight, Pastor. So you might want to, this might be a little R-rated for y'all. If y'all ain't grown, I'm joking. But we're going to teach Bible study another night. But real talk, in this age of relationship, because we are in a unique situation. And it's interesting because when you think about the dynamics of our society, right? You got people who want to depopulate the earth. You got people who don't want to see us growing. We had more people pass away during the COVID, and a lot of those people really didn't have to pass away, But there are a lot of conspiracies as it relates to all of those things. But one thing I can assure you of, one thing that I can honestly assure you of, is that the African American family has always been under attack. Always been under attack, whether they don't want us to produce, they don't want us to reach our maximum potential, whatever it is. And here we are in this unique paradigm, this unique period in history where it is so hard, and it shouldn't be that hard, right? But it's so hard to get into relationships, right? I mean, everywhere you look, you hear all of these myths. You hear about 50. I'm not doing the 50-50. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I got my list. I got all these types of things. I'm complaining about dates that I haven't even been asked on yet. I'm talking about being cheated on, and no one in my family has ever been cheated on. But I have all of these reasons to nullify or to disqualify myself from getting into a relationship before I get into a relationship. And it has me asking questions. What is the issue? Why have we found ourselves in this unfortunate position? There are so many people now. When I used to do shows about this quite a bit back in the day, but so many people now that are satisfied saying that I'll never get married. When it used to be the dream, it used to be the aspiration to go to college, get a career, get married, have 2.5 kids, get a house, 3-bedroom house, 2 baths, with a picket fence, and then I'd be living the American dream. But nope, that's not the same situation now because people just don't care. And I believe the reason why a lot of people just don't care is because a lot of people have been hurt. And because they've been hurt, they've not done the work to do the necessary healing. And if you don't do the necessary healing after you've been hurt, what ends up happening is you end up becoming infected. And when you become infected, then you got to make a decision. Do I go through rehabilitation or do I go through amputation? A lot of people are choosing to amputate instead of rehabilitate. So therefore, I'm cool. I'm by myself. I'm cool being on my own. I don't need her. I don't need him. I'm in this position where I'm going, and it's just a weird dynamic to me. And Jackie, it makes me wonder. Abe, it makes me wonder, what is it? It may be part of the problem. And this is supposed to be open mic night. So I'm gonna check this phone. If y'all don't start talking in a minute, like I said, we're gonna have a short show tonight. But maybe part of the problem is tonight is that a lot of people just keep choosing the wrong person. What do y'all think? If y'all ain't listening to me, if y'all haven't liked or shared this, do me a favor, like it, heart it, share it, and let's get this conversation started. I think the problem is, what's up, Mon Franklin? A lot of the part of the problem is we keep choosing the wrong person. Let me ask you a question. And I want you to be honest with yourself tonight. How many times when it comes to a relationship, what's up, Kim? How many times when it comes to relationships have you said, this time is going to be different? And it ended up exactly the same. Y'all come on, talk to me for a minute. Come closer. Come close. Just come. Talk to James. I'm your friend. I mean, this is therapy. We could talk about it tonight. How many times have you said, this time is different, but it ended up being exactly the same? Same patterns, same feelings, same ending, just a different person. I want y'all to sit with that for a minute. Let me see what Jackie's saying. Let me see what my sister's saying. What's up, Jackie? Because by next week, I need to have somebody doing this. Jackie, I'm speaking to you right now. Jackie said, I can't speak for everyone else, but for me, that's not the American dream. And I understand. And I'm not saying individually. I'm not saying individually. I'm saying collectively, that used to be the dream. I'm talking about pre mass incarceration, when all the men went to prison, women were left to fend for themselves, pre the hurt, pre the bad relationships, pre everything. I'm talking about when we're coming up the way it used to be, when we were cool with the Cosby Show. When we were cool with Good Times, we saw the husband and the wife and all, I'm talking about back then when that used to be the dream. I'm not talking about I get it. I'm talking about now, right? And let me ask you a question, because tonight it ain't about them, because a lot of us have chosen the wrong person, and we're gonna ride with that. But tonight is about you, and I want you to do me a favor. If this has ever been you in a relationship where you thought it was going to be different, but it ended up being the same, I want you to type something in the comments. Type this in the comment. Type pattern, Pattern. Because a lot of times it's not the person, it's the pattern. Yeah, type that in the comments. I'm going to read Chauncey's comment. I didn't even finish reading Jackie's first, though. Hold on. Let me see what Jackie said. Jackie said, type pattern in the comment. Jackie said, I can't speak for everyone else, but for me, that's not the American dream. I've been there, done that. Okay. No, I have adult children and grandchildren. And okay, cool. And so we've addressed that. Chauncey said, I believe the problem is that there are some of us who made the right decision, but something happened to the person we chose. They changed, or there was a life experience that changed them. And that could very well be the case. I could see that as well, because I know I was told I was a different person, and I did become that other person. I did become, but see, we spend a lot of time. I see. Did anybody type pattern? I see one person type pattern. Type pattern in the comment. Type pattern. It wasn't a person, but it was only if you identify. But we spend a lot of time talking about the wrong person. But what if the real conversation is why that person felt right to you in the beginning? What if that's the real conversation? Because here's the truth. You're not choosing wrong. A lot of times you're not choosing wrong. You're choosing familiar. Does that make sense? A lot of times we don't choose the wrong person. We choose familiar. And sometimes we choose familiar because familiar feels like home. Even though, watch this, even though home wasn't healthy. I'm going to let that sit with y'all for a minute. A lot of us choose in relationships. We choose certain people because it's something about them that's familiar, right? Because we don't want to step out of our comfort zone, right? We don't want to step outside of our concentric circle. You know, we want to go with somebody from hometown or somebody at the church or somebody that's in there. We love to go with the familiar. But can I tell you something? Whenever you go with what you know, you always end up where you were. And when you continue to go with what you know, then you end up failing to grow. Right? Does that make sense? So we go with the familiar. We go with the familiar because the familiar felt like home, even though home was not healthy. So when you meet somebody and something clicks, you call that chemistry. But what if it's not a connection? Huh? What if it's just recognition? What if it's something inside of you that's saying, I felt this before, and because I feel something that I felt before, and because it feels familiar, then I go with that. And that's exactly the problem. Because if what you felt before came with confusion, inconsistency, or chaos, then what you're feeling now probably is not love. It's probably memory. Let me read what Mello said. I got Mello listening on YouTube. He said, in my situation, let me read it. He said, in my situation, it was no genuine love at home. So the first time the love felt genuine, I would gravitate towards that, even though it would end up not being real. Wow. And we have that type of because, Kenny Ross said, I was looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, looking for love, all that, because we're looking for something that was missing, because there's a void, right? There's a void that needs to be filled. And when you see a hole, you could do several things with the hole. You can either put dirt in the hole, you can put trash in the hole, or you can put flowers in the hole. And some of us have voids in our life, and we want that void to be filled with love. And when it's something that looks like love, that somebody's going to give me something that I know I really need to receive, and I try to receive it, but then when it comes in, it's not what it appeared to be. Yeah, Mello, I feel you on that one. I feel you on that one. I feel you. Let me see if I missed any other comments. It takes two people. I believe that if we focus on why now see, Jackie, when you start using all those all caps, I think you're fussing at me. You scare me when you say that, when you do me like that, sis. When you start fussing at me, you said it takes two people. Are you implying that somebody did not? No, I'm joking. I believe that if we focus on why we chose that person, we can overcome what is going on that's negative. That's the thing, What people don't realize, Jackie, is that marriage is a work in progress. You don't come into a marriage whole. Well, first of all, when it comes to marriage, two become one. That's where it's supposed to be. Two become one because we cleave unto each other, right? But you don't just wake up and learn and know how to be married, right? You learn how to be married. You learn each other's natural proclivities. You learn each other's habits. You know, you should have known certain things before you got married. But as you get married, you learn certain things. You learn what triggers a certain person. You know, you have to learn what childhood traumas they're still carrying. You learn all of these things, and because you love that person, because you have love for that person, you've decided that you're going to be in relationship with this person, and that we're going to do it until death does us part. Now, because you know that person has these childhood traumas, you know that person, this or that triggers that person, then you try to be the bridge, or you try to be the softening spot for her or for him to help them get through what they go through, you know, recommend therapy, whatever. But I don't think we love each other enough. I think the problem is we come in with these exit plans, thinking that everything is going to be hunky-dory, that the honeymoon is going to last always, and that we never going to have issues, we never going to have problems. The first time we get in an argument, I'm ready to move out and go sleep on the couch. No, you got to work through those things. Nobody said the road was going to be easy. Nobody said that every day was going to be shiny. Man, I'm divorced, but all of my days weren't bad days. And the fact of the matter is, I probably had more good days than I had bad days, right? But if you have enough equity, see, that's when the relationship really starts to fail, right? When you don't have any more equity to draw. Oh God. So only one person is like, I'm only talking good for one person. Only one person is like the show. Y'all ain't gonna like it or love it or share it. Please like it. Listen, in relationships, as you grow together, and that's part of it. As you grow together, then what I'm gonna throw this out there. As you grow together, you take portions of that growth and put it in an imaginary bank account and call that love deposits. And those love deposits, over time, they continue to increase. They increase and they increase and they increase. And the more they increase, that means the more they have increased. Then you develop equity in those love deposits, right? I'm making this up as I go along. So as these love deposits are increased and you have equity, now me and Jackie get in an argument. Now me and Melinda, we have a problem. Now Avery and Lisa, they have an issue. So, but instead of being bankrupt because they don't have anything to draw from, and somebody's sleeping on the couch or somebody ready to leave, now they go and pull from this equity, that love deposit, the good days. And the good days really should outweigh the bad days, right? When you pull from those spots, then that's what helps you get through the rough times. But my issue is I don't think a lot of us really build up equity, or we don't. Here it is. We have not learned how to mark the milestones so that we would know what a deposit was, so that we can put it. A lot of folks never learned how to save. If you don't know, if you never learned how to save, you know, if you never learn how to save, you definitely don't know how to recognize a deposit and put it away for a later date. Grandmama and them used to take money and put it all in socks and, you know, put it in under the mattress and hide it in tin cans, and, you know, because they understood the concept of saving. You know why? Because daddy used to come here, daddy would say this whole thing about a rainy day kind. He said, James, you need to save because one day it's gonna rain. You're gonna experience some rainy days, and in those rainy days, you need to have something that you can draw from. Even in relationships, if you have made enough love deposits, if you learn how to make it through the rough times, you have something to draw from to help you get through these hard times. Y'all tell me if I'm right or wrong. 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 To come on video, click the link. Or if you want to make the phone call and come on the show. Oh, hold on. Let me give y'all the phone number. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. Boom. All right. There we go. There the phone number is. Let's see what I missed. I missed a comment. Here we go. What did I miss? Abe said he said that's fine. Okay, that's good. All right. So we're good so far. Let me ask some of you all a question. If y'all, since Abe and Jackie, those are engaging with me. Let me and Abe, you kind of answered this already, but what did love look like for you growing up? What did what did love look like? What did love look like? Did what I had a two-parent home. Now my mom and dad got a divorce when I was super young. I'm talking about probably before the age of 5. My mom and dad got a divorce probably before the age of 2 or 3. But my dad remarried, and my stepmom came in my life when I was 7. So by 11, I started calling her mama because she raised me. She taught me the difference between a dinner fork and a salad fork. She taught me the difference, taught me how to set a table, taught me how to use elbow grease to clean the bathtub. I mean, she taught me how to watch. She taught me a lot of things that were the essentials growing up. So she's my mama, and I call her mama. So I was fortunate enough to have 2 moms growing up, but their relationship, I've learned to appreciate it. Something I had questions growing up because I had a confused version of what probably love looked like, because my stepmom was a little aggressive. She was raised with a sister, and a dad, a alpha male, so she was a little aggressive. My dad wasn't as aggressive, until he needed to be. Sometimes I had a misguided view, of that, and it probably, well, I know it affected me because I remember my ex-wife telling me it affected me growing up. She told me once before, I hate this part about you. I said, ugh. So there was probably some therapeutic things or some attachments that I carried from there were some, not a probably, there were some attachments that I carried from my childhood into my adulthood. And until I got into my late 40s, early 50s and started doing therapy, I was really able to recognize some of those things. And so little did I know that I was trying to look for certain people in people. And when I didn't, and then was trying to please that person, then trying to hide from that person because I didn't want to reveal parts of myself. There was so many dynamics going on in the way that I related, and that it wasn't, and none of it was healthy. And in those instances, I didn't see the other person because it really wasn't the other person. It was me. I was the one who had the warped view. I was the one who had the misguided view, and because of that, I allowed that to affect. And so a lot of times we don't realize that the attachment styles that we pick up in childhood are what carry us over. For instance, if you were made promises as a child, you were made promises, but the promises, they kept being broken. What does that do to a child? I'll be there to pick you up at 5 o'clock. We'll be there to pick you up at 4 o'clock. And then 4 o'clock comes and nobody picks you up. 5 o'clock comes, nobody shows up. 6 o'clock comes, nobody shows up. But then finally by 7 o'clock, you get that phone call. They tell you, well, I'm not going to be able to make it. Those are attachment style. And then you start not trusting other people in your life based on what other people have done. It's sad when you start seeing, and here it is. It's sad when you always see your ex in your next. Clip that. That's a bar. It's sad when you always see your ex in your next. Okay, thank you. Abe is sharing his dynamics. He said, mom and stepfather, they always seem to too busy for me and my extracurricular activities. Alcoholism, drunkenness, arguments, verbal, emotional abuse. Therapy helped in my 40s too. Community help. Yeah. Because you know what's so funny about that? And it's nothing, and I don't mean hilarious when I say funny. I don't mean, but what's interesting about that is that dysfunction seems so normal that when you see something that's actually functioning, you think that that's abnormal. Yeah, am I the only one? Am I the only one? Am I the only one? Because that affects how you choose in the future. And then another thing is sometimes you'll be cautious about who you choose because you don't want to expose a certain part of yourself. That's why I told after being married for so long, I have a desire for companionship. But in that desire, I want to present the best version of myself. And I've presented myself. I have at least on one or two occasions since the divorce. I mean, some of the relationships have not worked out so far. But I've had some really, really wonderful women that I've met, over the last couple of years, right? And a lot of them are busy. I mean, super, super busy. I get it, single mothers and having lives and work and all those things. But I mean, it's interesting paradigm. But I got two things that are my love language. Number one is words of affirmation, and number two is like touch. And I can't touch from over there, so we got to. Oh no, and I love you till I unlove you. That's how I do it. I mean, I really put in a whole lot of effort. I mean, because I'm a Cancer, so I mean, I love with my whole heart. Once I feel like I like you, man, all I want you to do is like me back. If I love you, Mello, I'm for real, bro. If I love you, or if I start loving you, all you gotta do is love me back, and you'll get everything out of me. But the moment I feel like that love is not reciprocated, I'm in a whole different space. Let me see what Jackie said. Jackie said, "So how many times are you willing to keep doing that?" Well, actually, I don't know what I said, so I don't know what that is. Now you gotta, when I be talking, you gotta give me what that modifies. What did I say? How many times am I willing to do what? Keep doing what? Sis, y'all know I just be talking. What did I say that I said? What are we referring to, Jackie? How many times am I willing to do that? And I don't even know if it's well. I'm gonna see what that question is first before I answer that, and then we're gonna go a little bit deeper. What time is it? 8:36. We're gonna be through by 9 o'clock. We're gonna be through. But the phone line is open 404-860-2775. 404-860-2775. If you would like to call in. Once again, if you have not liked or shared this show, please, ma'am, please do. Showing your whole self and giving you all until you just stop. How long am I gonna keep doing that? I really wish I had an answer to that. I really wish I had it, because that's just who I am. If I like you, man, if I feel like you're the one, I do. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I mean, they say that Cancers are emotional, and I'm July the 6th, and I know y'all zodiac, whatever. Y'all gonna send me to hell? Go ahead. I get it. Thankfully you don't have that power. But I love it, but because I'm gonna give it. That's just who I am. If I like you, it's all in. If I feel like you're the one, I'm gonna keep giving it but if I see you not giving it back, then I'm probably my love's gonna slowly start to erode, and I'm gonna start to go back in that shell, and I'm gonna be by myself, and I'm probably gonna say, give you the benediction where I put that finger up like that, and I'm gonna say, peace, I'm out, because because I can do bad. I can do bad by myself. I mean, I could do that. I could do that. Let me see. Jackie said, Abe said, if it's not reciprocated, I find the escape route. Most of the time I bounce if it feels too real, because I'm used to it not being real. Wow. Yeah, now that's going to take some therapy right there, because you got to learn how to trust again, Abe. And I'm glad that you are a proponent and an advocate for therapy. Because you should know, right? I mean, and Lauryn Hill was on to something, because Lauryn Hill said it should all be so simple. But we'd rather make it hard, right? I don't get it. You're gonna stop carrying the purse. I ain't never carrying no purse. Never ever, kid. You know what? I did carry. Man, the last one I tried to be in. I found myself carrying a purse. Is that what you're referring to? We were walking on the side of and I was doing that too. I mean, I think I was in love, y'all. Don't tell nobody. But we was walking on the side of the river, and and she handed me her purse. And normally, sis, I'm sorry, but if you hand me a purse, I'm like, nope. Normally I'd be like, nope, don't hand me that. But she handed me the purse, and I just grabbed it, and that's the thing about it. That's the thing about it. Don't ever say what you won't do, right? Just say what you wouldn't do for that person, or what you could, or don't say what he wouldn't do. Just say what he wouldn't do for you. Vice versa. She just say it that way, because for the right person, you'll do whatever. You might, as long as it's moral. I ain't talking about robbing a bank or streaking or nothing like that. But you would be surprised what you would do for the right person, right? Let me see what DA talking about, because DA, I'm scared he might cuss me out. DA, you cussing tonight? But don't ever say what you won't do. But DA, what we've been talking about, and I know you've been married, but we're talking about we've been talking about choosing the wrong people in relationships. That's what we're talking about tonight. Let me see what the essence of relationship and love has changed with the current climate of society. If it doesn't fit what's happening on social media, then most people don't believe it's real. And that's the truth. Because as human beings, we are creatures of habit. We imitate what we see, right? And so the money is coming out of Hollywood. I mean, they spend billions of dollars in advertising for programming, right? TV programs, radio programs, now social media, right? All these types of programs. And what programs do is, because program is a verb and a noun, right? It's a program because it's a noun, but it programs, that's a verb. And the more you see something, especially with your eye gates and your ear gates and all these things, those are windows. Ping Lian, I think I'm saying her name right. She said that the eyes are the windows to the soul. So when we start seeing certain things, then we start to expose. God, you're saying this good, James. You start to expose our soul to certain things that oftentimes are things that we should not expose ourselves to. And then here's the thing, DA. Here's the thing, Mello. Here's the thing, Jackie. We end up becoming the effects of what we've been exposed to and what we've embraced. So when we allow our eyes, which are the windows to our soul, to become exposed to something that we should not be exposed to it, once we become exposed to it, we become the effects of it. And if we become the effects of it, guess what happens? We end up embodying it. That's the preacher in me. I'm sorry. We end up embodying what we've been exposed to. So if we see these relationships that are unrealistic, we see two millionaires who have horrible, or who didn't have proper, I'm trying to think of the right word, didn't have positive role models growing up. And I'm not saying this is the case. We're speaking hypothetically, right? They didn't have good role models, right? Didn't come from good two-parent homes. I ain't talking about just two-parent homes. I'm talking about good two-parent homes. Who didn't grow up with, if you were in church with the love of Christ, or whatever your God was, whatever taught you the love that was necessary, right? But didn't grow up with that. But just because they're married and they look cute together, right? And then all of a sudden now everybody's hashtag goals, hashtag family goals, hashtag want to be like them, hashtag this. And then all of a sudden they end up failing, and then your whole world comes crumbling down. Why? I mean, the whole internet was at a buzz last week because of Clay and Meg Thee Stallion. And I don't know them people. Bit more than a man in the moon. But we all divided. Women talking about men ain't this, men ain't that. Men talking about women talking about she didn't deserve this type of relationship. And we don't know them people. And the whole internet's divided, and we're battling over stuff when we should be trying to bond over something. We got a whole war going on in Iran. Today in New Jersey, the airplane was coming in, clips the light pole hits a truck driving down the street. We got real issues going on in the world right now. I mean, we got real problems, and we worried about folk that we don't even know. Y'all help me out with that. Huh? I mean, right now, off the coast of Africa, there's a cruise ship full of people. 3 people have died already. And they got not the coronavirus, but they got the deadly hantavirus going on. And we worried about Meg Thee Stallion and Clay. Children can't read, can't write, don't have social skills. I mean, we got a lot of children right now that can't even say a complete sentence. And y'all listening to them. And where instead of let me tell you something. Let me give you advice. Next time you see a child and it's one of somebody you know and they're struggling to complete a sentence, don't help them finish. Don't help them finish it. Don't finish it for them. Let them finish and talk them through. Y'all been finishing these children's sentences so long that now they can't talk and carry on a conversation. Listen to them talk. Jack can say, even if we did know them, that's not our business. That's mainly our problem. Focus on you and what you have going on. So where other people, unless they fix you directly, yeah, absolutely. But that's the kind of stuff that we would rather be talking about. And we pick based on that. If he ain't doing that, well, if she ain't doing that, well, if they ain't got this, well, if they don't bring this to the table, because I bring this table, I am the whole table. Who cares? I promise you, when people start talking like that around me, telling me I'm pretty this, I'm the beautiful that, I'm saying, I start to wonder if you have an esteem issue. And if you have an esteem issue, then that means that because you have an esteem issue, that means you're gonna always need me to, and I get it, because words of affirmation is one thing. I will affirm the world out you. If I know that's your love language, I got a decent vocabulary. I promise you, I will affirm the world out you. But I can't fix every hole. I can't fill every void. Right? And so if we're dealing with all these issues up front, Randy said, minded every business and expect for the only ones that pay them. He said, man, every business except for the only ones that pay them. Yeah. But I'm too grown for that, right? Randy, I don't know for you if it was the same way, but when I got about 40, I know they say women grow up exponentially faster than men do, right? Y'all, yeah, girl, Jackie, I called a homegirl of mine yesterday because y'all know I put a post up the other day. I said, and I meant some stuff I'm figuring out now later in life. I'll text my ex-wife, say, why didn't you teach me this? Like I said, why didn't you teach me how to wash white clothes? Why didn't you teach me how to cook vegetables better? Or, the other day I said, why didn't you teach me about Kroger's digital coupons? Man, I would listen. Y'all done turned me on to these Kroger digital coupons. And so I saw one of the coupons the other day, and it was, it had some conditions on it, right? You had, and the conditions, Jackie, almost looked like a doggone riddle to me. You get this price if you buy one at the regular price. So I called a friend of mine, homegirl, and I said, listen, I don't speak lady, so I need you to interpret this coupon for me. And when I tell you, she laughed so hard. But I went on and got that toilet tissue, that mega pack for $9.99 though. Yes, I did. But no, but I don't know why I got on that subject. But yeah, we got to choose right. And we got to figure out how to choose right. Got to figure out how to choose right. Let's go a little deeper, because I got about 10 more minutes. I'm not gonna be on. I told y'all I wasn't gonna be on live. Here's the other problem is, and when it comes. What that's Viola. Viola, we're talking about in relationships why we keep choosing. This is open mic night, so if you want to change the subject, you can. But we're talking about why we keep choosing the wrong person. And the first thing we talked about is that we're not really choosing wrong. We're choosing familiar. We choose something that feels like home. But the problem is, so many of us choose stuff that feels like home, even though home was chaotic. Home was something we were trying to escape. But we keep going with the familiar. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, another problem is we accepted less because we didn't see more. Let's go deeper with that. See, some of the relationships that we some of the relationships you stayed in, you didn't stay because they were good. I want you to come closer. Some of the relationships you were in, you didn't stay because they were so good. You stayed because you didn't think you deserved better. Let me let you sit with that for a minute. Some of you stayed in relationships not because they were so good, but you had such low self-esteem, or that person made you feel so bad about yourself that you didn't think you deserved better because you weren't in love. You weren't in love. You were trying to be chosen, because everybody wants to feel chosen. Everybody wants to feel valued. Everybody wants to feel necessary. So you trying to prove something, trying to earn something that you should have been given freely. When it's real love, you don't have to earn it. It's going to show up. It's going to be a look. It's going to be that smile, that connection that you all have, that when your eyes meet right in the middle, right? Because you find each other all across the room. You can spot each other from across the room and don't have to say a word with your mouth, but then your eyes connect. That I'm talking about that type of love, right? So what you ended up doing was you overgave, you overlooked, you made excuses. You said something like, I see their potential, or they just need time. You keep overcompensating for them, give them more and more time to get it right. And the whole time you keep losing pieces and pieces of yourself. No, you saw what you hoped they would become. I know it's tight, but it's right. And this goes both ways for men and women. You saw what you hoped they would become and ignored who they were showing you who they already were. And guess what? In that process, the only casualty was you. Because you looked up a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later. And now, let me say this. That's not necessarily to say that that's an exit door for you to leave. Because if you're married, by all means, do the work. But that is a time to raise your hand and say, hey, something's off. We need to fix this. And then when something needs to be fixed, that means that there's communication. And then y'all start to do the work that's necessary to try to get out of whatever it is you're dealing with. Does that make sense? At that point, it might be time for therapy. At that time, see, and back in the day, Jackie, Abe, you can relate too, because Abe is from Windermere, y'all. Abe is from Windermere. Abe was one of us growing up. He was our boy growing, but he was more than I was, because I was in the suburbs. Shoot, Abe was in the hood. But even in our culture, right? Even when we didn't have therapists back in the day, you know who we had? We had Big Mama and them. We had the elders in the house that we trusted their judgment. Because the elders in the house, if they told us not to get married, we didn't do it. Because you walk in the house, Jackie, and the first thing they'll say is something like, "Well, who your people?" Because they wanted to recognize the last name. Because if they knew the last name and they knew something about your people, they knew that if crazy was in your family, right? They'll look at you and say, something about that boy's head is off. The shape of his head, something about his head. You better watch that one. We listen to Big Mama and them, but now we don't really listen to Big Mama and them. At least we need to do is go through it, especially when we have issues. See, I'm from the day and age, Viola and Randy, when family, when we have family reunions and cookouts and all those types of things. Those were the most powerful moments, because it seemed like wasn't no plans, but it just seemed like all the men would end up in one part of the house and all the women would end up in certain part of the house. And when the men walked past the women, they had to be kind of cautious, because all the women would jump on them because it would be fun bantering, but it would be the elder women would be in the middle explaining certain things to Big Mama and them, be explaining certain things to the younger women, and the men, we would all be in another room talking about football. But over time, that started to change. Over time, we started to lose that Viola, I tell people that our city, and Viola knows where we're from, but I tell people the world really started to change when they combined the boys and the girls club. Oh yeah, but you know what? They had sense enough to keep it in the closet, though, Jackie. At least they had sense, and really, and listen, if your little nosy butt, I'm joking, but if your little if somebody little nosy butt wouldn't have went looking in that closet, everything would have been straight, and we would have been good. It's always the fine. Interesting. It was interesting times. Things changed when they started and Mello, you there when they started combining the boys and the girls club, because Mello and I, we grew up in the boys club. They gave us space to fight. They gave us space to shoot pool, to go swimming. We learned how to swim, basketball. I mean, Mr. Weatherington, all of them. We had, and guess what? We did it all for a $5 boys club card. We had men in there, Mr. Noble and Mr. Fisher and all those people that kept us on the straight and narrow and told our parents and made us sit down, and we grew up together. But when the boys and girls started combining, now we got choirs. You got girls, got little boys playing with dolls. I mean, the whole thing started changing. I mean, there was a certain DNA something that was infused in us that put that dog inside of us, but all of a sudden things started to change. I don't get, and we appreciate, and as boys, as little boys, when we did see a girl, oh my God, wow, she's beautiful. I'm gonna go pull her hair. I'm gonna go play chase. I'm gonna pinch her and run. But then but things became so common. Yeah. They asked about school. Well, Mello, I never had to go through it. I'm sure you probably got suspended. I'm joking. But if you got suspended, where did you go back then? You went to the boys' club. So it represented a place of discipline. Mr. Rich would make you sit there all day quiet, from what I was told. I never got suspended, y'all. I never got suspended. But Mr. Rich, what I'm told, would make you come down there and you had to sit there all day long, bored, from 8:30 to 3, whatever it was, right? But it represented discipline. It was a foundation. It was certain things that we gathered as young boys, all gathering in the same place with male mentors. But I understand budgeting and all this thing, but there was a sacrifice when they combined the two. It was a sacrifice. And so it plays into our attachment styles, which ultimately plays into our adulthoods, because those things have a way of following us. They have a way of giving us our self-worth. So it makes us feel like we need to stay in relationships that we actually need to be out of, because those relationships are not serving us at all. We deserve better. We deserve better. A lot of us settled for things and tolerated things simply because we had low self-esteem. I'm gonna give one more point, then I'm gonna get out of here. Okay, one more point. First of all, I think we talked about was we wasn't choosing wrong, we're just choosing familiar. Second thing we talked about, we accepted less because we didn't see more. But I'm gonna give one more, and then I'm gonna go eat one more time, then I'm going to bed. All right, and oh no, I'm not. The Braves play tonight. We're on the West Coast tonight, so we got so I'll be up late tonight. But here another one. A lot of us are in the same relationship. We just with a different person, because we didn't change, and we keep same relationship, different person, because we didn't change. We just kept choosing the same version in a different body. We didn't change, but we chose same version in a different body, right? Let me see what Jackie said. Jackie said, let me read it on my phone. let me see what Sis said. Sis said, I had an older lady ask me about 3 months ago. She asked me when she found out I was a Poindexter if I was into politics or if I had been to prison. But I knew she was basically asking what side of the Poindexters. Yep, trait I was on, because we carry our names carry weight, and Grandmama and them understood that. We're so disconnected now. We're so disconnected because we meet people on social media sites. We don't know what kind of spirits those people carry, what those people believe, what those families believe. We don't know what's in their bloodline. We don't know any of those things. I mean, even if I practice on dating sites, I really have never gone on a date off of a dating site. I really never have. I practice my finger exercises. But first thing I look at two things. First thing I look at height, because I'm only 5'9". That's what I look at, height. I look at sign, zodiac sign, because certain signs I am not messing with. Y'all know who y'all are. If you don't, if I haven't messed with you, I probably looked at your sign. And then I also look and see what your religious affiliation is, because I need to know, because I don't need that unsolicited pressure, right? Because I don't know what's in your bloodline. I don't know what you believe, right? We can get in the bed and I can wake up and you levitating or chanting over me. I don't need those kind of problems, right? So we're so disconnected now because we're not as communal as we used to be as a people. And because we're not as communal as we used to be, now we just get in relationships with anybody, don't know anything about them, and But what's funny about that is that even though we don't know them, spirits have a way of attracting. And we still end up choosing the wrong person, or we end up choosing the same person just in a different body. Some of us think we've had what y'all laughing at? I'm joking. Yeah, I'm for real, man. You wake up and joke chatting or over in the corner looking like I ain't got no. I'm getting up. I remember I was in college one time, Vi. I was in college. And well, I'm telling my business. I wasn't preaching yet, y'all. So I said this. But me and this girl, we went to bed, sleep. And in the middle of the night, she woke up, Jack, and she said, and I woke up, I said, what's wrong? What happened? And it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. She said, I just had a dream that I got to say a certain word. Because it's algorithm. Okay. I just had a dream that I unalived you. What? And it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I got up, put on my clothes. She said, where you going? I'm leaving. What you mean you leaving? You just said you had a dream you unalived me. You think I'm going to stay? I'm out of here. Adios, cat. But man, you don't know what people believe. You don't know you don't know you don't know. So that's why I appreciate that layer that grandmama and them had growing up. And I'm trying to protect my children now. You said you would have Mello said he would have left too. I'm trying to protect my children now, and I get sometimes they make it hard to protect them because they want to be so secretive. It's not that we're nosy. As a man, part of my job is a protector, and I protect my children. So I'm not being nosy. It's necessary that I know, because I need to know who I need to come. Okay. Yeah, I told her out of there, cat. Look, Jackie, that was the beginning of the end for us. It really was. But some of us think we've had multiple relationships, but the truth is we've been in the same relationship multiple times. Tell the truth. Raise your hand if that's you. Y'all ain't gonna tell the truth. I know you ain't. But you've been in the same relationship different times, multiple times with different people. Same lack of communication, same inconsistency, same emotional roller coaster. The only difference is it's a different face. And in those moments, what you got to really start to ask yourself, who's the common denominator in this situation? Because so many times we're presenting ourselves saying we're ready for a relationship, and if we've not done the work and we're the common denominator in the relationship, maybe it's some work that we need to do internally to fix ourselves, to prepare ourselves for a relationship. Does that make any sense to anybody that's listening to me? Different face, same experience. And the reason that keeps happening is because there's something inside of you that has not healed yet. You're not just dating people. Here it is, Jackie. Here it is, Viola. Here it is, Abe. You're not just dating people. What you're doing is you're replaying wounds, trying to get a different outcome. I'm going to make it work this time. But he loved me. But he make me feel good. But he got good hair. But you're replaying the same wounds, hoping to get different results. And somebody said that sounds like insanity, doing the same thing, looking for different results. You're trying to get a different outcome. Watch this. In a situation that keeps starting out the same way. When you going to recognize the signs? Everybody always talking about red flags, right? But that's why I said a minute ago, you'll do anything for the right person. Viola, you remember growing up, some of y'all girls, y'all wanted the light-skinned dude with the green eyes, with the red, with the good hair, because you didn't want your baby to have no bad hair. I'm talking crazy. Jackie said you have to be very careful with that, because what will happen is you will start turning into that person or person with the same rate that you keep choosing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we downplay spirits. And familiar spirits, the Bible talks about lending yourself to familiar spirits. Be careful, because familiar spirits have a way of attaching themselves or connecting to you. And just because it's good to you doesn't mean it's good for you. Amen, lights. Amen, lights. Amen, lights. So you're in the same relationship, you're just with a different person. And the question is, how do I break the cycle so that I start changing, transforming, evolve? Here it is. That's the word I'm looking for. Evolving into the person that I need to be. And that's why, I ain't gonna lie, I have a desire to eventually be in a relationship, get married. People say, are you gonna get married again? I'll be like, nah, I'm joking. I do plan to get married again. I do. But as I evolve, it's certain stuff I just ain't putting up with anymore. And I also know, as I do the work, what I deserve. Because it should all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. I'm sorry, I'm singing in the key of F or Y. Yeah, I ain't finna be working. No, I'm not gonna be doing all that drama, arguing. Don't raise your voice at me. Don't, because I won't raise my voice at you. And if you feel like you need to raise your voice, text it, but don't use all caps, because I wouldn't do that to you. Let's communicate. Conversate. What we say in the hood, mellow conversation. Do what? Rule the nation. I'm gonna be the flower girl. I hear you. You're gonna be the flower girl. You too tall to be a flower girl. That's a better word. You too tall to be a flower girl. You're gonna be my best woman. You're gonna have to get a dude to walk down. You got to wear a tuxedo, but you can't walk with a girl though. I don't play that either. Well, yeah, whatever. Let me stop saying that. Let me stop. Conversation rule the nation, baby, all day long. Windermere, Silver City Court, all of them back in the day. Those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. I got one more point. What time is it? 9:08. I got one more point. Y'all want me to give y'all one more point, or y'all want to talk about it next week? Let's talk about it next week. I got to work tomorrow. Or we might come back on tomorrow. Who knows? But listen, we have to start making better choices. And then when we make bad choices, take responsibility for it. And say, okay, I made a bad choice. Move on. And then here's another thing. Learn how to recognize the difference between a relationship and a marriage. They're not the same. Y'all put too much emphasis on relationships that are not marriages. I don't even think it should really make the news. Be accountable. That's what Randy said. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I think we put too much emphasis. Why are we putting so much emphasis on relationships that are not marriages? If marriage should be I think, me personally, marriage should be the model. And if you're being single, then teach people how to. If you're single, teach people how to be better at being single. If you're a single woman, teach young women how to be better at being single young women. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I got to go to work tomorrow, so I'm going to cut the conversation short. Y'all know I started back selling cars again. I'm at Jim Ellis Hyundai in Chamblee, Georgia. So the first week was a little interesting because I had to get used to that again. So this week is going to have to be successful. All right. And if you all are still in need of life insurance or whatever, you know how to hit your boy up. Hit me up. We could do it over the phone. I'm licensed in Arkansas. I'm licensed in Georgia, and I'm licensed in Ohio. And I can be licensed wherever you are. Just let me know where that is. All right. Nothing like a real covenant relationship, man. I agree with that. And I've seen them before. I know people say, well, grandmama just was unhappy. She just didn't. She ain't tell me that. She must tell y'all that. So that's cool. And I get it. But I don't advertise that. I don't. I think we can be happy in relationships if two people put forth the effort. And remember what attracted us to each other. Remember what attracted us to each other. All right. So I'm about to get out of here. It's been fun. It's been real. But as I always say in closing, the world is changing. My question is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all on next week.
Intellectual Stew. Intellectual Stew with James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical,
Have you ever found yourself?
Are you dating for that person?
informative and
I feel
inspirational.
every bit of it. Like, I'm not trying to waste my time.
How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual Stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the Mind Massager.
Intellectual